You know, he took a life.
He took two lives.
Well, he takes 2 lives, right? He could take 3 or 4 or 5 lives. He pulled the trigger. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't above the law. He didn't go to an academy to train all this. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Presidency, and I pray every day that people will see the light of the new presidency and his governance, and to decide we can be better than all this. So I'm off my soapbox.
DJ, what do you think about that? What do you think about garnering support for your cause in any way possible, in the Hustlers Corner joining and doing whatever they can to raise the funds that you need, just as people came together and raised the funds for Kyle?
First of all, those people who raised the funds for Kyle are out of line. That individual took a life. You know, he took a life.
He took 2 lives.
Well, he takes 2 lives, right? He could take 3 or 4 or 5 lives. He pulled the trigger. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't above the law. He didn't go to an academy to train all this. He knew exactly what he was doing. So you know what? He should not get any funds from anybody. And anybody who contributes to the funds to him are just as guilty what he did, and he pulled the trigger. I don't need funds to help me out. I don't want funds to help me out. I just want my word to share in the United States on the Hustlers Corner, in the Department of Corrections. I want to share my story. I don't need funds to help me out for anything.
But DJ, think about this. Your life has already been on the line. You know, I'm thinking about what you're sharing here. I'm thinking about your book. I can't wait to read it. It's just that I wish you would have put it in, you know, in Kindle instead of paperback so I could have got it already. But the thing is that we're not only talking about you, we're talking about your family. We're talking about your children. We're talking about people that are surround you. And the thing is that you know for a fact, you've seen in a situation, they're going to go after them too. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right in a partial way, but like I said, anybody can find anybody at any time. I don't care, you know, who you are, whatever. People can be found at any time. And I agree with you. I worry about my son and his family members. I worry about him.
See, the thing, what would you say? We've been working on this platform for a while, building it, and it's growing. It is really growing like wildfire. It's growing very fast. Yeah. And the thing is that, but we would like to make this a platform that, hey, look, DJ, blah, 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 blah. Your situation is dire. We're going to send you these funds. Pack up and get out of there and go somewhere else. What would you say to that? I'm
sorry, Perry. I'm not going to run from my problem. I'm not going to run from this problem. And you know what? Hold on. I mean, I think it's great if that happens, but I just can't accept it. And I haven't accepted it since day one.
Yeah, not to run from your problem, but to get you out of a life-threatening situation. DJ, blah, 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 blah. We heard the situation is your family, your children is dire. Here, take this and go take your children and get them to a safe place so you can keep fighting. What would you say to that?
I'll have to consult that with Lanny Tron, my attorney, and my friend, and my wife. I see what you're saying, but I just can't make an answer right now. Yeah.
You see my point? Just as these people come together supporting a kid like Kyle, who, in my honest opinion, this kid had no clue what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
He's been brainwashed.
Yeah. His family members who drove him over there should be held accountable for that too.
Yes. Yeah. But therein lies the weak links. You see now that the weak links came from his parents. It came from the people that she's involved with. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the weak links also in these corrupt officers also has a trail that you can find and pick it apart piece by piece by piece. But the thing is that I really want the Hustlers Corner to be a platform that says, hey, look, incognito, Cash App, Venmo app, here, take your family, get them out of there. Here, take this is for your attorney. Here, take this, help go after, you know what I mean? This is what we would like the Hustlers Corner to be about, but we're building it to that point. It's going to take some time, but we're getting there. Because to be perfectly honest, it's just like Lenny said, we need a hell of a lot more people like you. We really do.
There's a lot of people like DJ. Though,
Yeah, but they're afraid to speak out, Jeanette.
Yeah, I understand.
They have a livelihood. They're trying to support a family. They're trying to support, their means of living, and I had the same situation. But you got to stand strong, and you got to, how can you look yourself in a mirror every day when you get up and you see wrongdoing or something's going on and you don't report it? If you don't, you're just as bad as not reporting it. So, you got to, if you see wrongdoing, you got to report it. And you have to have the backing. You have to have the upper administration to support you and back you, not turn their backs on you and throw you under the bus. And there's not too many correctional officers in the United States that I've seen or even heard about that have come forward to talk about wrongdoing in the prison systems, what they're doing to the incarcerated.
You wake up in the morning, go to this job, you feel that what you're doing is right, and then what you see is wrong, and you're afraid to speak out.
Right.
Now, that's gonna hunt you in your mind. It could develop a mental problem or suicide because there's nothing you can do, and this is your duty. These inmates is not animals. They're human beings.
The other reason why we're looking to build a Hustlers Corner platform to support people like you is because if they see you got support, just like Kyle got support, then other people will come forth. They see there's someplace they can go and they can get support. Catch my drift?
I think, Perry, your generosity is not lost on us. I really think DJ's not saying that he wouldn't welcome the opportunity for your support, but I think for both of us, I think the support would be better used to help those who, as Jeanette said, they want to tell the truth, they want to tell the story, they want to talk about the wrongdoing, but they're so afraid they're going to get threatened or terminated or fired or beat up and then piled up medical bills. I think for DJ and I, the generosity that the Hustlers Corner is suggesting is one could be better served inviting people to speak about wrongdoing and calling out, hey, if you go ahead and blow the whistle on something, we'll be there for you. I think we'll do whatever we can to support the Hustlers Corner. We'll absolutely do that. We will mention you any way you can, and that good avenue for advocacy is Hustlers Corner, because Hustlers Corner is doing the right thing. And I think that's the kind of support we want to give to you. And the support we want to see you give is to invite inmates, invite other correctional officers, invite police officers, invite those that, in the country's police departments, God, they see this stuff and they're just afraid to talk about it. It's okay. It's an okay thing to do. And we will give you the support because we want this to be we want the world to be a better place. And again, Perry, I think you're spot on with your mission. You're absolutely spot on. You are inviting people to talk. You got DJ, your generosity, inviting him and myself to come on and talk about this situation that needs to be talked about. I don't want people to think that all correctional officers are crappy human beings, because they're not. And it's those that really care. And I think, Perry, your support, Jeanette, your support for these people to be whistleblowers will be immeasurable in the long run. I really do.
Donald DJ Vodika, born in Camarillo, California, served 4 years in the U.S. Army. He joined the California Department of Corrections in 1988 and oversaw the rapid expansion of the prison system. For 16 years, he was a prison guard in California's highest security prisons, serving meals to gang leaders and serial killers. He belonged to an elite unit called the Investigative Services Unit, otherwise known as Internal Affairs, a unit responsible for solving horrific crimes inside the prison walls. He became the sole whistleblower to uncover a group of rogue prison guards who called themselves the Green Wall. The Green Wall is a real-life drama of DJ's courage, against the California state prison system. It's an unflinching look at what can go wrong when just one person is willing to stand up and speak for what is right. His televised state testimony exposed a scandal that led to resignations, transfers, sudden retirements, and reforms of the system that are still underway to this day. It's the story of a classic example of triumph of personal integrity in the most dishonest place imaginable. The Green Wall. Available on Amazon. Learn the truth.
I totally agree. I don't think all correction officers are bad. I don't think all police officers are bad. There are really good police officers out there who are really trying hard to do the right thing. But like DJ, they can't come forth and expose the corruption in their departments because they go through what DJ's been through. We want to put the Hustlers Corner New York City as a platform that says, hey, look, we got your back. Time to get out of there and we'll take it from there. The other thing is I want to share with you. So imagine us working hand in hand with you and helping to expose the corruption in the corrections industry, which leads to exposing corruption in the police industry, which leads to exposing corruption in the political industry, the corporate industry, the sex trafficking industry, and how they all tie together.
Right.
You tell me, what do you think of that?
Right off the bat, love it. I absolutely love it. I think there are not enough people like you and Jeanette who are willing to invite people to speak their mind about the travesties they've gone to. Hey, we all like publicity. You know, I'm not going to kid you. I love it coming on podcasts. I love telling DJ story. What I get the most gratitude from is a person. DJ went on, and I went on a podcast with a woman in Missouri. And we got an email back from one of the listeners that said, thank you so much for everything that you do and everything that you've done. My husband is in the Department of Correction as a prisoner. He's lived through all this. I just pray to God that he will get some benefit from you continuing your vocalization of the problem. I think that's what you and Jeanette are doing. You are shedding a light on a dark corner of our society that needs to have the light shed on it. Hey, we drive by prisons here in California. DJ said they're 37. You almost can't go on any highway without passing a prison. And I never thought of that. Before I met DJ, I didn't give it a second thought. I thought, okay, well, those are the bad people. Just keep them locked up in there. And then you realize, hey, they're real humans in there, and they are really going through some struggles. And those that are trying to make their life better are getting shit on just as much as the prisoners are. And so DJ caused me to realize any opportunity you can to shed the light on something that you think is wrong, whether you think it's corrupt or whether you think it's wasteful or whether you think it's just wrong, is an opportunity that we make this world a better place. And I can't thank you and Jeanette enough for what you're doing about shedding light on corruption or wrongdoing or illegality or wrongful or wastefulness or whatever, so that, you know, some of these people that are stuck in this box, and here's somebody shedding the light on it, like another prison guard in, you know, Sing Sing says, what the F, man, this is wrong. I should do what DJ did. Yeah, his life was miserable, but maybe if I do the right thing, I can face myself in the mirror every day. I can feel good about myself. So what I think, and I thank God that there are people like you and DJ who are willing to take the risk. I mean, I can't imagine your life is normal than anyone. You put the spotlight on those. And if they can shut you up, then hey, we can just keep doing what we're doing. But Perry and Jeanette won't allow that to happen. They won't allow that to happen. They shed the light. They broadcast these problems. And there's DJ, like I told you, shit, he could be in a boat somewhere. He doesn't need this, really. But he won't give up. He won't give up until there's change. He's got literally no skin in this game. Everything that could happen has happened to him. I mean, yes, they could eventually take his life, but you heard him. He's not scared. If that's the price I got to pay, that's the price I got to pay for hoping that I can make change and make a mark on my son, my grandkids, and anyone else I touch.
Okay, DJ, let me ask you this. I want to go into a little bit more detail about the things you've experienced while you were in the prison system. Share with us some of these things that you've witnessed, that you've noticed. You don't have to refer to names, but you can refer, or you can share some of the things, even if it's a bit graphic, what you have experienced that led to let you see what's going on and why the whistle needs to be blown on it.
You know, Perry, I have always wanted to be in some type of law enforcement and all that. You know, I'm a basketball and I got a degree in criminal justice. And, you know, back then I wanted to get into law enforcement right away, but everything was a hiring freeze. So I entered the United States Army. I was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina for 4 years. So shortly after that, I came out and my dad sent me an application for the Department of Corrections, and I joined the Department of Corrections in California. And I worked at, like I said, I opened up Corcoran State Prison, which is a big security maximum shoe unit where all the heavy gang members were housed there, 24/7 locked up. Our famous Charles Manson and some other minority gang guys were there. And I stayed there for 4 years, and I went to another prison. I opened up a prison down there, became their ISU officer down there. I stayed there for a couple of years, and I transferred to the notorious Pelican Bay State Prison, Northern California, and I became the ISU officer there where I met Joe Reynoso. Stayed there for a couple of years. So then I went in 1996, I went down to Salinas Valley State Prison near the coast, Monterey, California. Opened up that prison, and I stayed on their ISU unit for a couple of years, and I went out to the line in November of '98, you know, and I ended up, we had a Thanksgiving riot, the famous Thanksgiving riot that's in the book, and Southern Hispanic inmates attacked staff on the yard because the staff members were disrespecting the Southern Hispanic inmates for a period of time. They were throwing them on the wall. They were abusing them over a matter of time. So they had enough. They had enough of it. So they attacked staff on Thanksgiving Day. Some of the officers were stabbed. Some of them were beaten down. So I ended up doing the crime scene. I did the whole crime scene for that day because the lieutenant there knew me and knew I was from Pelican Bay, and I had the experience and the training. So I did the evidence. I took charge of that crime scene, and then shortly after that, I told the officers. I need to take photographs of these inmates prior to you walking them back into their cells. And they looked at me and they said, "What are you doing, Vodika? Are you an inmate lover? Are you part of these guys? Are you going to join the inmates? Are you taking their side?" I looked at them and said, "No, you guys do your job. I'll do my job. I'm just photographing these guys of their injuries prior to them being escorted back to their cells." Well, I ended up doing this, and I got the wrath from all the officers. I was a dead man right there. I was not trusted anymore. So these inmates were escorted back to their cells later that day, and these officers who were part of the Green Wall, they abused them. They took them in the closets. They took them wherever they want, and they kicked the shit out of them. They beat them up, destroyed their property, did whatever they want because they had the backing from the warden. So shortly after that, there was a big investigation from Sacramento who came down a couple months later, and they pulled me in a little room over there and asked me to go through all the photographs that I take. And I said, "Oh, no problem, I will." Well, right at the door was a union member, a John Stewart union member, who wanted to go in there with me and to listen to what I had to say. And I looked at that union member. I said, "I don't need your help. I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm not the subject of the investigation." So I went in there, and he didn't like it too well. I went in there and explained my story, and then shortly after that, that's when these officers, when I had to write my report to the warden about the Green Wall, then these officers approached me in the vehicle Sallyport. And then, right, like Lanny said earlier, I was contacted by the Office Inspector General, who's an elite unit out of Sacramento who worked for the governor. They came down and did it, and they wanted to talk to me and knew what happened. I told them. They met me in an SUV at my house location, took me on a little ride somewhere, and we talked for about 4 hours on a cassette tape. And a couple of weeks later, they come to the institution. They rushed the institution. They took the warden out of the office, took all his files out of the office, took the investigative lieutenants and all their files out. And right away, that's when the phone was ringing and telling me I'm a dead man. You're no good, Bob.
This is Perry Odell coming at you live from the Hustlers Corner New York City, saying thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us on our show. If you are a person who was exonerated for a crime you didn't commit, and you want to come and share your story, come share your story in the Hustlers Corner New York City Victims of the System series. If you are a person who lived a former nefarious life and decided to go the straight and narrow and self-reformed, active in the community now, steering and changing our youth in a better direction, come share your story on the Hustlers Corner New York City Legends of the Hood series. If you are a Black business owner
and you want to come share your story about your business, and you want to talk about your goods and services in your story, come share your story on the Hustlers Corner New York City Black Business Movement Series. If you are a performing artist, rap artist, hip hop artist, vocalist, actress, and you want to come share your story of how you achieved your career and your success, come share your story on the Hustlers Corner New York City On the Grind series. If you are a woman who has been through traumatic times in her life and you want to share your story of triumph, come share your story on the Hustlers Corner New York City Lipstick Stories series. And as always, if you enjoy this show, please show your love. Hit that like button, share, don't forget to leave a comment, and most of all, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to you being with us again.